Understanding European culture before the era of colonization. Why focus on European culture before studying American literature? In order to understand the culture clash that occurred when European settlers came to the Americas, it's important to first understand some key elements about European culture before the era of colonization began, in other words, before 1492. So here's a little history lesson. Anthropological records indicate that human beings have been on the planet for at least 130,000 years. Of course, recorded history only tells us about the last few thousand years. Up until about 3,000 years ago, European culture was far eclipsed by sophisticated, complex cultures in Asia and Africa. Starting with the Greek city-state, Europeans began to close the gap. This new European culture focused more on the importance of logic and valued the control and use of nature. The Roman Empire and its connection with Christianity spread this way of thinking throughout Europe. The philosophy of logic drastically altered the way many viewed the concept of time. Time became something that was clearly linear, emphasizing separation from the past, and often viewing those currently alive as the end point, the pinnacle of existence. This created a disconnection with the past, and with past ancestors, and with the past generally acknowledged spirit world. The spread of Christianity across Europe further enforced this divide, as the pre-existing cultures of Europe were generally forced to abandon their beliefs, and that often meant abandoning recognition of and their connection to ancestors. This new spiritual order instead focused on spirits as more distant, less personal, less involved in daily life, and more authoritarian. This newly developed Western culture also emphasized the idea that life is conflict-directed. In other words, the struggle for power is the essence of life and of progress. Another new element, probably seen as more positive, was the emergence of the self. Not only the focus on one's own needs, but on the concept of a unique individual soul, each with its own fate. European colonization of the Americas began before 1492, with early northern European peoples migrating across the Atlantic and forming small communities on the East Coast. However, none of these were long sustained, or at least survived into modern times with their origins known.